Now we're back, and we learned some fundamentals 2 weeks ago about Google Ads. And there's three things from the last class that you should have walked away with. And one of them is going to be something you'll understand more and more over time. So we went through, how a campaign is set up, and we went through the types of keywords. We also went through something called ad rank and quality score, right? And the auction. So those are the main things that you'll want to walk away with. The auction is harder to understand generally just because it encompasses ad rank and quality score. Now, that being said, it's something that you'll get used to over time. It is not something to focus on or worry about. It is just to know that it is not the person that pays the highest price gets the top spot, right? So it is an auction, and the person that wins the auction, the person under them pays a penny more. So they don't pay the thing they bid, they pay a penny more, right? And that's it. So I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that, because how a campaign set up and those fundamentals are something that don't change in Google Ads, right? You might get new types of campaigns, but that fundamental component doesn't change. And today we're going to create a campaign together. Oh, I know, I'm so excited. Right. Okay. So I do have something for you. Now it's going to say there's an app script when you make a copy of it. It is because there is an app script. So Google might tell you, oh, this thing is nefarious. This thing is rockstar. So it is a Google Sheet. This is where I'm basically giving you our Google Sheet, but I'm only going to teach you half of it. And the reason being, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So all you're going to use this Google Sheet for right now is you're going to use it to hold your keywords and help you organize them into ad groups. So the thing about that template is that is the one that if you edit it, you'll break it. So, and you'll see the neato thing we do to make a copy. See how it says copy at the end instead of edit? So it's the third one. So that'll make you make a copy. And that's where you'll see the app script. So it should, when you open it, look like this. Copy document, right? So then you make a copy and you can view the app script. I wouldn't bother because I don't even know. No, originally we used this Google Sheets when writing the Google Ads was different. So yours is going to look like this. It's going to have keywords here. You'll notice some are crossed out. This is just an example. So if I was going to work on this Google Sheet and I wanted to start fresh, I'm just going to go delete all the keywords, right? Just hover over all the ones here and like just bam, bam, right? So take your keyword list. Notice how all the colors change. You're going to paste special, not just paste special, which is Shift Command V, right? So it's just paste special. And if you're going to clean up this little worksheet, you can delete all these things here. Don't just delete the second line. Don't go deleting these, okay? Don't delete this one. Just the top. The second, so line 2, column C, D, E, and F will clean up your total Google Sheet. You got it, right? And the reason I want you to do this is because I want you to learn about this Google Sheet while we're working on it. So what you want to do is just grab a list of keywords. If you don't have a list of keywords, don't worry, we're going to go get a list. But we need a list of keywords and we need a landing page before we start any Google Ads campaign. So we want to know, if we're working with our clients, we want to, talk to them before we create a campaign, because we want to know what they want. We want to know what they're selling, because you got to be specific in this, right? So if I get a new client and they're Seymour Digital Media I'm going to meet with the client. I'm going to interview them about what they want to sell, like, and how much their budget is, right? So I know this person has, say, 3 services, right? So I do want to find out, like, where are they going to advertise? Who do they want to advertise to? So before you really get started doing Google Ads, you need the landing page and you need a bunch of keywords. So if you don't have keywords, you're going to go get them. Now, where are you going to go get your keywords? Anybody?
Search console.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Search
Keyword
results.
planner.
Yay. Okay. So 2 main places. Now there's lots of resources. You can also go to the search engine results pages. Usually the best place you get results are Google Keyword Planner. However, you can get lots more keywords from like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Ubersuggest. All those will give you lots more. So what you are trying to achieve is 20 keywords per ad group, right? Okay. So we're going to go over to Google Ads and we're going to sign in. So everybody go to your Google Ads account if you have one, sign in. If you do not have one, don't worry. You're going to create one right now. Who does not have a Google Ads account? Anybody? Everybody's got one.
Is
I
it
don't
worth
think I
learning
do.
how to set one up, even if we do have one?
Yes, but there is a video for that. The one thing you really want to know is you want to show your clients how to use Google Ad Keyword Planner without having to create a campaign. That's the most fun, because what happens when you set up a new account, Google will walk you through setting up ads, keywords, setting up the whole thing so that they can charge you money. And then they let you go to the keyword planner. But if you know where to click, you don't have to set up a campaign. And that's the big difference. But that comes with time. And that's, most people want a Google Ads account and you can set up an ad and you can pause it. So everybody has a Google Ads account, right? It kind of looks like this when you log in. Yeah. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go up on the right-hand side to campaigns right here. And that's going to list out all your campaigns. Now, if you're not seeing anything, the magic 3 dots, right? So if there are campaigns created or there are some enabled and some paused, like if I just wanted to know my client if they had enabled campaigns, I'd click on enabled. I can go down here and view by campaign type. So view by campaign type, view by campaign would show them all. And if I can select if I want to see all ad groups or just enabled, all but removed. Google saves everything you do. Even if you delete a campaign, it will be there for the rest of your life, just so you know. And it's kind of annoying, but also sometimes helpful. So when you're on the all campaigns, then in the second column on the right-hand side, you're going to go to campaigns here, the fourth one down, right? And then where you're going to start is you're going to start with that blue button. But before you go there, this is where we're going to end up to create our campaign. Before you go there, we want to go over to tools and settings if you do not have your keywords, right? Tools and settings across the top of your screen with the little wrench icon. Once you open that up, you're going to get lots of submenus. You're going over to planning for this one on the left-hand side, and you're going to the keyword planner. So this is one of the first places you're going to go get keywords. You're also going to go to Search Console, copy your keywords. We'll do that in a second as well. So we want to discover new keywords. So we click on that box and we can just put in what we're going to sell, right? If I don't have a live landing page, I might just use a keyword or 2, right? Or 3. Okay, right? Now I can just click on get results and see what Google gives me, but I haven't put a website in. Get results. And then I get a whole bunch of keywords and you do go through them with a fine-tooth comb, and every one you want, you click on, right? Like, now remember, people usually want to sell something if they're doing Google Ads. So if you're sending people to your blog, that's great, but that's going to be informational searches, right? More so. Usually Google Ads works for people they're searching for something, they want to buy something. That's the best, right? So I know if I'm typing in marketing classes near me, I might want to buy something. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to grab as many keywords and I'm going to copy them. You can click on copy. You could also save keywords to a plan. Do either or. The plan is over on the left-hand side right here. So you can go get the keywords that way. But if you look, we got 105 keywords, right? And so that's good. That's a good start, right? I know I don't do story branding, digital one-day workshop. It's not that. Marketing writing courses, no. Mad over marketing workshop sounds branded. Digital marketing online workshop, right? I'm not like, I noticed that Google's not giving me much in the way of prices, right? So that the search volume might be low, but right now your job is to just gather the keywords for a campaign, right? All the keywords you think you could use for a campaign. So we copy all these, copy. We go over to our Google Sheet. This is mine. So I already have a bunch of keywords. You can see I've copied a lot. I went and I actually copied things like backlink, of course, I don't want in there, right? And if you have doubles on this Google Sheet, so let's say, I should have made this list way smaller. I got excited. Hold on. Okay. So if I have doubles, you'll see it turns a different color, right? This is not a big deal, but do you want doubles? No. So just delete it if you see that color change, right? And when you put, so now you get a list of keywords. We'll go over Search Console. We'll get a bunch more, right? And so good to have access to your client's Google Search Console or your own. If you don't have one, you want one set up, and you go over to search results or performance if you don't have the Discover. And then don't forget to change your settings in Search Console to 16 months, right? Because you want as many keywords as you can see. Now say this is giving me my whole website's keywords. So maybe I want to filter. You guys want to see something cool? Actually, I just learned too. Okay, so I'm going to filter for query, right? And let's see if I have the word workshop, because that's what we're going to sell. Looks like I have some keywords for workshop. I have 11. So I would copy these. And I mean, what I would do is just export the right-hand side of Google Search Console and just export into Google Sheet, copy those over, delete the Google Sheet after you copy the keywords, put them in your master keyword, Google Keyword Campaign Builder, right? Now, the cool thing that I found, which is really interesting, so you're the first to know. So I would copy this over, right? Put it in my Google Sheet here. I am command, right? Out, and look, all of it changed. So all these keywords are already in here. Now, the thing I learned when I was doing research, which I found very interesting, is we all know we can do compare, right? But I think it's, maybe I have to change to 3 months. Compare 3 months. Yeah. Okay. And then query, compare. I can do a compare on queries, and I can get the what gets me more clicks, which keyword gets more traffic. So if I am wondering, should I use the word course or class? Well, what's it look like to you? It looks like I'm getting more words for course. It's got higher total impressions, right? No clicks for classes, less impressions. I have a better click-through rate. So that's just a neat aside that I learned, just to share the newest and the greatest things. I don't know why I didn't know I could compare things like that. There you go. I'm sure you can compare pages too. Anyways, back to Google Ads. Okay, so we have our Google Sheet, right? We got a bunch of keywords. Does everybody have keywords on their Google Sheet now? Okay, let's go get some keywords, guys. We're doing it together. That's right. I got some music, elevator music for the background while we do this.
Bum,
Dun, dun,
bum, bum, ba, bum, bum, ba, bum, ba, ba, bum,
bum,
ba,
bum.
bum, ba, bum,
Like
bum,
it.
ba,
I
bum,
love it.
bum,
Right?
do, do, do,
Okay.
do.
And if I lean up this sheet, it takes away everything. Yeah. I can keep on my keywords. They're gorgeous. Want to see something fun? This is why this sheet is so great. So I have workshops and seminars in here, SEO training. I got marketing. I got learning SEO, free SEO course. Second row, always the second row. And do not, I want you guys to see something. So see this? See all that? That's what you don't want to break. So that's in the third line. So you don't have to worry about it. Just the second line. We want free course. What this sheet is doing is it is taking all the keywords from over here, crossing them out and putting them in this list. Now this list is too long and I have some keywords like I wouldn't do the SEO Moz course, right? Unless I'm doing a competitor campaign. So free, let's just SEO, right? Okay. Free SEO course, let's see, best. And if you want to narrow it down, 2 keywords, right? And then local SEO course. Now, sometimes you'll see things turn in red. I don't want you to worry about that. We will get rid of duplicates in our ad groups later. I got this sheet made for me. So this is like the secret sauce, but this is the best way to create ad groups for a campaign. So I'm looking for 20 keywords for ad group. That's what I'm doing. So now later on in the course, you're going to learn, now much later, you're going to learn about this. All my ad group names are here. And then I can create my headlines all across here, and I can upload my campaigns a different way. That is very advanced. We are not there. All you want is your ad groups and your keywords, because once you kind of get a list of keywords, right, and you have your ad groups, then we can cut and paste inside Google Ads, which is where we're going to create our beautiful campaign right now. So first, kind of like in, you know how in chemistry you learn, you go to grade 11 and you learn all these things. And then in grade 12, they tell you everything you learned was irrelevant and you're going to relearn stuff. And they do that so you get some fundamentals. That's what we're going to do today. We are going to build a campaign inside Google Ads. But when you are a pro, you are going to use the Google Sheets and the Google AdWords editor. But for now, all we want is the keywords and to create ad groups, right? So, and I keep going. I can go all along and I can go, right? All I'm doing is collecting. So this is a great way to kind of get your ad groups for you. And that's why I wanted to share it today. Now, if we're going to go back over to Google Ads and we're going to go right where we left off. So if you're in create a plan or you're in the keyword planner, getting out of there, hitting the back arrow up at the top left-hand corner, and we're going back into our campaigns. And then we're going campaigns up here, first column, top, right? Hit campaigns. And then the second one, second column, right? You're clicking on the word campaigns. Let me make that bigger. How is that? Is that better? Okay. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to click this blue plus button. That's it. And we're going to create a new campaign. And it's Google is going to walk you through the steps. Now, I just want to point out a couple of things here. Google's going to ask you some questions and you're going to answer them. The first type of Google ads you are going to learn are text ads. Okay. Text ads bring you sales or they bring you leads. We don't want to click on website traffic. This branding is for display, brand for display, ad promotion. No idea what that is actually. So usually you click on one of these or the last one, create a campaign without goal guidance, right? That's the best one to click on because then you can make some choices. Now we are creating a search campaign and we know that Google from our last class has two networks, right? Search and display. So we are doing search and text ads. So first you click on that, create a campaign without goals guidance, or you can click on this one or this one and it'll take you to the same place. This is my preferred choice. And then the next thing you're going to do is select campaign type. Now you're going to hear in your future a lot about Performance Max. I personally say stay away from it. It is like a smart campaign. It is there to give you less choices. When you are a Google Ads professional, you will log into accounts before you sell somebody on something, and you'll see they're oftentimes having a Performance Max or a smart campaign if they're a local business owner doing it themselves. Where you want to click is search, the first one, right? Now you can try all these other campaigns, but first, fundamental search, right? So we clicked on this search conversion. Okay. Okay, ignore Google's pop-ups. Go back. Oh, leave. Always remember, Google is trying to steal your money, sadly. And so we are going to walk you through some steps that are a little different than what is recommended. So you're clicking on search and then you scroll down and ignore all this conversion stuff. We're not there yet. You're going to learn how to add conversions in a later class. So we're going to click continue. And then we're just going to click continue again. We're not going to fill out any more information. And then get out of here. And Google does changes periodically. What we want to do is just set up the bones of your campaign. So this is where Google's walking us through now. They've opened it up. They're like, okay, choose your bidding. I don't want to choose anything here because I'm going to go back a different way and set it all up. So I'm going to click next. And you're going to click off these boxes. Now, there are some fundamentals with Google that I'll take you through next week to see some other settings and things like that. But when you create a campaign, sometimes less is more. You can create the campaign and then pause it and then do some editing. So we don't want the search network and we don't want the display network. And you might think that's super weird, but it's because it says include search partners. So we are using the search network, just not the Google search partners. So partners like AOL, partners like Black Press or YouTube, right? And the display network, we don't want that either. So we want to click off these. Google will often recommend you add these. You can show up, for instance, on if you do the search network on like Craigslist or use Victoria, which we have here, right? So that'll help you spend more money more quickly and you won't know where the traffic's coming from. So what we're trying to do is be super concise about where our traffic is, right? We can do a display campaign after this, right? So then I go down to locations and I can go to location options. So I can enter, or I can go to, click on enter another location and then go to the advanced search. There are some interesting things you're going to go through here that you're going to know. And remember, this is a whole profession. So you're going to get used to this over time because there's lots of buttons and levers and things like that. So maybe I just want to do USA or Canada. Maybe I want to do a specific postal code. Maybe I want to do a radius around Vancouver, right? 20-mile radius around Vancouver. I can target this. That's what it looks like, right? So there, I do some targeting. Now, Google's got this new pin mode. I'd ignore it for now, but you can see here, and then you can add other locations like Victoria, right? And you can target that with 20-mile radius. Go back here, right? Now, 2 areas. So I'm just targeting those 2 areas. Now, if I want to do location specific, I can get rid of these. And I can type in the area, right? Let's say Victoria, BC. Target. So I can target an area and I can keep typing things in, or I can go and show all areas. I can toggle that on, and then I can go, I want that area and this area, this area. So depending on how you want to target, you can do radius or specific locations, right? The choice is yours. There are lots of options. So to make things simple, now the larger the location, the more you're going to spend, right? So there, I'm targeting British Columbia. I'm going to click on save. Awesome. Great. So we got a location. Shows up here. But then I want to click on the location options below that. And I want to look at these different options here. So presence or interest in. So if I'm interested in, say, British Columbia, but I'm in Nepal, then I might get somebody from Nepal coming into my Google Ads, right? So I definitely want to click on the second one. People regularly in your targeted locations. So that could be somebody traveling, say, from Victoria to Nanaimo, right? So that's one of those buttons. That's an important setting to save you a little bit of money. And then as you keep going, put English, so I only do English language ads. If you're doing other language ads, I would specifically recommend that you have somebody that can speak that language and can write the ads. Having it translated doesn't always translate well. So you're going to see something like audience segments here. Now, this is like, I do have a video for you. It's relatively boring, but it's literally going in and clicking on all the audiences. So we want to get all of them. So when you set up a campaign, it's a little cumbersome. And this is why people set up a setup fee or have a setup fee, right? So you can go literally into all the settings, what interest habits, what they're affiliated with. You can do combined audiences if you have your Google Analytics people in here. You don't have to do audiences right away, but I would recommend getting them done because you're not targeting, you're just observing. So that's why you click on everyone, because eventually when you're optimizing, then you can drill down on your targeting and you can actually, the whole idea of Google Ads is this, like it's narrowing, broadening, narrowing until you get the sweet spot. And then 2 months later it breaks and you're doing it all again. That's great. And you can click on more options. Basically, I don't like my ads optimizing. So if you don't have time to look at your campaigns or time to spend time on your ads, pick the optimize best preferred. If you want control, pick do not optimize. I want to choose, right? I want to see what's working and then make points. All this stuff here, you don't even have to do right now. You just want to get to a campaign's created. And then you got, this is where your keywords come in, right? And so you can add your URL. Now, say you're like us and you know you have a URL, but it's not published yet. So Google's going to scan it and try to give you keywords here, right? So if I just put in my URL, put it in, well, if I just put in my URL, Google will generate me a list of keywords. And you're like, well, why would you do that when you have this beautiful Google Sheets on? And so you can, so this is new automation that Google has. It's been very different. So you can get scanning and keyword suggestions. And then, yeah, you're going to enter your products and services, right? So let's see. Okay, so you get a list, you get a list of keywords, right? Now, this is where I would cut and paste my own keywords just to put them in because I don't want these keywords. So I'm going to get rid of these. And I'm not going to use this because Google's just given me a whole bunch. And you'll notice they're broad match. Remember when we talked about match types, there's, what's this one? Phrase match? Woohoo. And then there's broad match, which is this one. And then there's exact match. Right. And then the last one, which you'll use often, is negative match type, right? So these are broad match. What that means is if I have a broad keyword like digital in marketing, I could show up for Facebook ads, right? Or online content writing, like, because it all relates. So I'm going to get rid of this list. Be like, Google, I got my own list. And go over to my Google Sheet, and I'm going to grab my keywords here. And then I will put them in my Google Ads campaign. Right. So now I have this. It's just workshops for Teams Vancouver, SEO workshops, Google SEO workshops. So it's all SEO and all workshops. Right. And I put my landing page in here. You can do just a placeholder for now if you don't have your landing page. The highest thing I recommend is that you pause things and you get things checked before you launch. The other thing is if you have clients, you're going to want to use that Google Sheet to create your ad groups to show them your ads so they can approve them, right? It's not, I wish there was a better way. There is not. So, okay, now you're making your ad. And what you're going to do is, so you know from your master sheets, you know that your first ad group is going to be SEO workshops or whatever, you've made into an ad group with like max 20 keywords if you're going to be smart about it, right? So SEO workshop. And so this is called your path. What this is just what shows up to people. So I put my main keyword for my ad group in here, right? Each ad group is going to have its own responsive ad. You can have up to 3 responsive ads in an ad group. So SEO workshop. And let me just show you what a path looks like. Ooh. Okay, well, here you go. So I might end up on a different page, but this person, they use their path as digital marketing, right? These guys didn't use a path, neither did these, right? So it's kind of like the breadcrumb things we have for organic, but it's just, it looks good. And some people read the URL. So you have the option to kind of manipulate your URL. Your final URL still goes to whatever you put here. If you always want to read more or learn more, you can always like hover over this. And Google's gamified this. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of fun. It's really kind of fun. So, and they give you keywords. So when you're making your ad, you can view headlines, and I can just be like, oh, what do I want? I want to add that one, this one. And what I'm trying to do is get excellent, right? I can view other details. I can view popular. And if you hover over it, you'll see how many searches, right? So SEO workshop. So I definitely want these in here. Now, you'll notice that these are capitalized, right? Case, I think it's case capitalized. So where if I copy the words from over here, SEO workshop, I'm going to need to go in here, and right? You cannot use certain characters with Google Ads, like exclamation mark, see, gamify, SEO workshops for teams. I want to add that. So basically I'm going in, I'm looking at what Google's recommending, and I'm editing it. The other thing I'm going to do here, now remember, this is your first ad. So you don't need to, get all great at this. But so what Google recommends sometimes doesn't work as well as what you know, right? Or what your client knows. Like, say you're not allowed to mention certain words, right? So this is like your first draft, but this is how you create a campaign at first when you start out. The other thing you want to do here is high quality products. I don't know if that's a great keyword for me. Let's view more of these. And so it's kind of a service, right? So these might not work for me, but I can click on them and see if they do. Calls to action phrases. Call us now. Yes. Contact us today, get a quote, find out more, book now. So it fills in all these headlines. I've got an average strength, but these aren't good. Though if you're a Google Ads professional, your job is to use as many characters as possible and have it make sense, right? So calls to action should usually happen like, you know, find out more, right? Oh, more now. Oh, yeah. Right. So you want, I mean, technically to make it make more sense, and probably put a period here and then something like that. So I want to speak to people, right, about what they're looking for. Questions work really well. Remember, numbers and special characters work really well. So if you're just trying to get things going and you just want to get all your headlines, you Google will not let you publish two headlines that are identical. SEO workshops, join now, right? Calls to action don't have to be on every line. Your keyword. So now I see I have all my keywords here. So I definitely want to grab my keywords and I want to put them in these, right? And I want to fill out my 15 headlines and I want to fill out my descriptions. Now you can just go through this, right? The gamify, and you can be like, oh God, I got to write 90 character headlines. You're like, whoa, right? View. And you're like, okay, no suggestions. Couple things I do here are I go and I look at my competitors' reviews and I try to use their language. I try to use a call to action at the end. I will go over to Google and I will see what other people are doing. Now, have you all ever looked up doing a local SEO workshop on Google?
I
I
haven't.
teach them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what you can do here is go and find text that you need, like find the right instructor for you. SEO workshops, highly rated. We know that this gets clicked on the most because it's the top of this. Oh, sorry, I'm lying. This one is the top, right? So maybe we want search engine fundamentals as a title, or we could go see our competitors. What are they saying? They're saying certificates, content calendars, content, right? So these are called site link extensions, which we will do later. But so we want to create our Google Ads campaign, which take a little while, right? We're going to write descriptions. We're going to make sure there's no errors. We want to take up the 90 characters. You can't yell at people in your ads. So, if you use acronyms, know that many people don't know what they mean unless, get a quote today. Now I'm going to show you a couple interesting things with your Google Ads. Find out more. See if, so it's kind of fun to get a quote. Find out more. Now, right? Calls to action, using your keywords. These are all super important. Filling out the character limit. If you can, get it as close to 90 as possible, get it as close to 30 as possible. If you put periods at the end, sometimes, so on a phone, it's different, right? So the way it looks on a phone, it's going to be different than on a desktop. And you can see Google's taking two of my headlines and putting them together. So if I put a period, sometimes it'll give me an extra line, right? You just play with it and, just have fun. So you guys see SEO workshop, right? That's my path, which is up here, SEO workshop. And I use my path to tell me what my keyword is for this ad group, right? So I know it's going to be SEO workshops. I want to fill out all this stuff. And I'm not going to do it now, but you're going to fill out all your descriptions. There's 4 descriptions and there's 15 headlines. Now, something really unique, say you sell a product or a service in all of the lower mainland. Yeah. But you want, people searching in Abbotsford to get the keyword, to say, we had that near me, right? So we're near me, right? Well, where is near me? And I have used 20 characters. So I want, and this is a great thing about responsive search ads, I want the location that somebody, if they're in Abbotsford or if they're in Vancouver, I want that to show up in the ad. I want Vancouver or Abbotsford to show up in the ad. So what do? I am going to click on this bracket. You know, the squiggly bracket you get? It's a cool little squiggly bracket, right? And I'm going to do location insertion. And if I do city, I can do my default as near me, or say my default would be Vancouver, or I don't even need a default, right? Oftentimes it's good to have a default. So, okay, let's take this. So now you can only do this for maximum 3 headlines, maximum 2 descriptions. You don't always want the location. So what happens is when this ad shows up for a person, if they type in SEO workshop and they're in Abbotsford, it'll show up in Abbotsford if it fits in the character length, right? If it does not fit, it'll default to near me. So say if I wanted my default text to be Vancouver, right? So meaning that somebody in New West could be like SEO workshop New West, and the word Vancouver would be changed out to New West, but the default would be Vancouver. So if they didn't type in anything, it might show Vancouver. But so what we're trying to do is match what the person types with a geo-targeted location keyword. Now, the other special things you can do with this, very handy, and this is advanced, my friends. So you might not do it now, but you'll know to do it. So you can do keyword insertion. Say I'm a candy shop and I sell chocolates and I don't know, rhubarb pie. I could put keyword insertion and the default text could be chocolate. But it will change out the keyword. And the last and final special thing I can do with these squiggly brackets is a countdown timer. Well, I love it. So if you have 30 days until blah, blah, blah. Now, these are advanced things. You're not necessarily going to do them now. I just want you to know they're there and they can be some fun and they can really help you. So once we do all our descriptions and our headlines, we can add URL options. This is the UTM parameter tracking we are not doing right now. And we don't want to do a test. We just want to click done. Going to show us our ad, right, that we created. And then we're just going to go to next. Okay. And then we get the options of site link extensions and all these lovely things, call out extensions, blah, blah, blah. We don't want to do these yet. They're a lot, right? So it's a lot. So we could just click next, or we can slowly go through all of these. I suggest personally that you come back to these because you might not have any of these extensions yet, but don't worry. And there's even more extensions. So I just click on next. What I want to do basically is get through Google's automated process, right? Because I'm going to go through all these things on my own. I'm going to figure them out. And so Google is giving me a review of my campaign. I clicked my budget. Google's checking for errors or saying no traffic because I didn't bid anything. And it's checking for errors. One ad has issues that will be prevented from showing. Okay. So I might have to go back if I'm just running through things. So it gives me red and I think it's going to have issue with this, right? So I don't need to fill all these out, all my 15 headlines or 4 descriptions, but it does benefit you because what Google does is they're interchanging what they're doing, right? All the different headlines. They're going to find the best ones that work together. It is a logistical nightmare when you're trying to get approval or explain that to your client. So we fixed the ad problem, right? And now budget's got an issue because I bid, my budget was a penny. And so let's just there we go. Still an issue. Fine. So it's daily budget and it's saying $15. It should let me go through without it and then publish campaign, right? Oh, missing information budget. Fine. But don't worry, because we didn't do our bidding type, right? And the campaign name is, you're going to want to use a naming convention. Campaign has no traffic expected. I don't care. Publish. just publish it. Then we're going to go and pause it. Okay, because it's live, you see the little green dot, it's got one ad group. Let's go fix it so this is all we see. We got one ad group, we got one campaign. We're going to go. And how you want to deal with your Google Ads campaigns is you want to work in this area. You don't, that automated system, that's great. But the reality is that you're going to be clicking on all these things and going through them, adding different keywords, doing different things. So let's go and let's go change our campaign name. We got all campaigns, right? I'm only seeing my live one right now. So I pause so I can go and I can edit. And we know this is, so workshop, right? It's local SEO workshop. Workshop. And if I'm naming my campaign, things I might want to know are what my main keyword is, like, or my main theme for the campaign is, or maybe I'm doing location targeting. So I might just do like, this is the Vancouver campaign. So, and then I know I'm targeting BC. And then I know I want to do manual bidding, right? And I know that it's just a search campaign. So why I do this? You want to be able to look at a campaign and you want to be able to know what your target, where you're targeting, what your theme is, what kind of campaign it's doing, and what kind of bidding strategy you're using. I have forgotten one thing in here. So I got local SEO. I like to do my keyword match type. So I'm doing broad, right? So this is way you can, now whatever your naming convention is going to be is up to you, right? So there I have my campaign name. It looks like this. I know looking at it, I'm doing local SEO workshop campaign. I'm targeting BC. I'm doing manual bidding. I'm using a keyword of broad match and I'm using search. You will have your own naming conventions. You will figure this out over time. When you log into other people's accounts, they might not have naming conventions. It's always better to have naming conventions, right? Now that I have the campaign, I can go through all the things, right? We don't get any auction insights yet, but I know I have an ad group, right? And I know, wait, if I want to show my ad group, enable. And here's my little ad group. My ad group's here. So I definitely want to name my ad group what my keyword, main keyword, local SEO workshop, right? Okay, so I have one ad group and I'm like, oh, one ad group. You're supposed to have more ad groups than just one ad group. Well, I'm going to be like, oh. So there's some weird things in Google Ads. Like if I click on this and I go edit and I go copy, right? And then I go edit again and I hit paste. And Google will create, it will ask you, where do you want to put your ad? What campaign? And it'll say, do you want me to pause the new ad after posting? And I paste. And so so this is, you can duplicate your ad group. I'm just going to duplicate your keywords and your ads and everything that's in the ad group, right? So this is a way to do it. I usually don't copy and paste my ad groups like this because I use the Google AdWords editor, but this is a way where you can easily go in and change things. Now, why I get, you see, now we got ad group 2, ad group 1, right? Because you definitely want more than one ad group. And so say I want to edit things, right? So I got my ad group. You know, look, see, I clicked on the ad group and it took me to my keywords. Do you see that? So it's going to jump you around. So we're going to ad groups. So if I have trouble, I'm not seeing ad groups here, but I'm like, well, I'm in my second ad group. I want to get to like see both of them. I go all campaigns. And then I see my campaign and then I go to, I'm in my campaign. It's the only one viewable. So then I can go to ad groups, then I can see them. So if you're just going to work on one ad group, you work your way through, right? And this is where you're going to start. So I would love if you all created a campaign before next class. Just try. Doesn't matter how messy it is. It's going to take you about 45 minutes. Figure out some keywords, get some keywords, and go through this process. Now, before you're done, though, I want you to hit pause. So this ad group, I want to pause it. I want to go pause. right? And you'll see it gets, so because I have it set to you can't see, you can only see my enabled. If I click on this, you will see that it becomes lighter. Let me see if I can show you. So this ad group, I'm gonna pause it. Now it shouldn't just, so now my ad groups, see how it's a little bit lighter? So they're not live, but my campaign is live. As I said, Google will like to spend your money. So I would go in here and I would pause this. But before I do that, the other thing I just want you to be aware of is what we're going to go through next time, which is we're going to go through your campaign settings. So when I'm in my campaign, each campaign has its own settings, right? Your account has settings. So if I'm just doing my campaign settings, I'm clicking on campaign and hitting settings. If I want my all campaigns and I want my account settings, so I click on all campaigns, I go down to the second column at the bottom, I click the down arrow on settings and I get account settings. So next time we meet, we're going to go through the account settings. We're going to go through all the settings and play around and see things. So we are going to finish building a campaign. It does take a bit of time, but what I'd like you to do is try to create a campaign and make sure you pause your ad groups and your campaign. So if I'm going to pause the campaign, I go enable, pause, right? Then I can't see it, but if so, when I hit that all, so there it is. It's a little lighter, right? And if I click on it, I can see my ad groups. So that is the beginning of building a campaign. There's additional settings, the things we did not go through, like adding extensions to our ads here, picking our audiences, we can go back here. When we go to our settings, we can pick our budget and actually go in here and change it to what I want, which is I can go and change my bidding strategy. We're going to go through this next time, but I'm going to change it to manual. And you'll notice you have to click on some fun things to get, if you want to get to manual, and you're going to get things like lower performance. It's a lie. And save. So we're going to go through the other settings, but we first need campaign and we need some ad groups and some keywords.